So in this video, I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about these new Pentel Energel pens. It's called the Black Color Collection or the Black Color series, something like that. But what it is, it's an all black monochrome style Pentel Energel pen with a few new ink colors. The ink colors are all based on a shade or a shaded black color. So this one, for example, is Bordeaux black. That's a black purple mix. There's another one called olive black. That's a black green mix. So you have these slightly off black colors and a slightly different Energel style pen, making for not particularly notable, but a pretty interesting release. These ones came out, I think about, I want to say September 2021, right around there. And there are 6 ink colors, only one body style, that's what I'm holding. And then they're sold in 0.5 and 0.7 millimeter refills. The refills are being sold separately, which I have right here. So we'll show that in a second. Okay, so we'll jump right into the pen body. That's this right here. It looks very much like a standard Pentel Energel. What does that mean? Typically, they have a wider body. They have a rubberized grip that's on the wide side. Some Energels have a metal clip, some don't. This one does. And they tend to have this kind of swoop pattern on the back. It's a little hard to see when it's black on black on black, but it's kind of rounded here, goes up and back down, and that pattern is matched here and here. Most Pentel Energel pens have that. And then a wide button. It's a little hard to see. Just was, focusing is not that easy when it's all black like this, but a nice wide retractable button. It's only sold as a retractable. It's not sold as a capped or twist style pen. That's fairly typical for the Energel. Here is a kind of standard Energel. I think it's called the Activex. And you can see this is an older design, really quite similar. The grip is essentially identical. Front pieces, that front tip are identical. The clip has been changed, and we'll get into the clip in a second, but the button is the same, and it still has that sort of swoopy design. It's been tweaked a little bit. This is an older design. It opens at the top. They're still made, but it's been around for a while. This design was essentially upgraded with this pen right here. This is the Pentel Energel In-Free. This is a clear body, but it's overall an upgraded design. We see some metallic parts. I don't believe this one's metal, but it's metallic. See the clear grip, kind of a upgraded portion. And then we see the metal clip and the metal button. Here we see same clip. This one's clear and chrome. This one's black on black, but it's the same clip and the same button. The design is basically identical. So I like the In-Free. I like that you could see through it. But in the same way, the In-Free came out with a bunch of new colors, like they had like an orange and a red and kind of these slightly non-standard colors. The orange should be slightly different. The red was slightly different. There's a turquoise, which is kind of a non-standard blue, red, green, black color. The Black Color family, whatever it's called, came out with the same. This one is clear. It's really low key from a pen profile. There's just the branding right here where it says Energel. This family is really similar, except you have here, you can kind of see that Energel logo right there, Pentel Energel, and you could probably just make out that it's purple, which is the color of this pen. This one's the Bordeaux black, 0.7 millimeter. And this one has a retail price of 300 yen, so a little over $3. Just in case you're curious, it comes apart at the lower section, just like the In-Free. And there's a refill. The refill is a standard Pentel Energel LR refill. So it's the same refill family. That's the LR family. This is the LR7, which is 0.7 millimeter. So that's kind of the pen. And now we'll get into some writing with it. It writes just like a Pentel Energel. So really nice and smooth with a nice bold color. This is the 0.7 millimeter. This is the Bordeaux EAUX, probably black. It's a little bit hard to tell that it's not total black in this lighting, but if this was in bright sunlight, you would be able to tell no problem that it's slightly purplish. Here I have the new Uni-ball 1F, whatever it's called. This has a very black ink, so we'll use this for reference next to the Bordeaux black. Now we have a nice key between the purple and the black, and if I could get this thing stable, you could kind of see slightly purplish tinge there, and then this one's pure black. I don't know if I have a marker handy. Yeah. So here is a Zebra PM whatever Sharpie type marker. Again, that's just as black, but it is more solid. So you can kind of see the purple even in this kind of bluish lighting. Next up, we have this one. This is crimson black. So this is sort of a red black. So this one's also 0.7 millimeter. I like them. They don't have the 1.0 millimeter, which I tend to buy, even though it's a little bit extreme in the Energel series. It puts out a lot of ink. I like the red of the crimson black more than I like the purple of the Bordeaux black. The purple is very subtle. You can kind of pick it out, but it's very subtle. Crimson is slightly less subtle, has more of a reddish, brownish tinge than the Bordeaux does, that purple tinge. Obviously, both of them, you could tell, are not black, but I tend to like this crimson, even though it looks like if you just showed it to someone, they would say, like, oh yeah, you're using brown ink. They're not going to say, oh, that's a wonderful crimson colored ink. It'll just look slightly brown, but you'll know in your heart that it's crimson black. Here is the refill. Again, you can buy the refill separately. Comes in a standalone pack. I think it's, it says 80 cents or 80 yen, Japanese yen. You're never gonna find this for 80 cents. Maybe you'll find it for $1.50 or so. If you're lucky, we will pop this one open and see this one is also 0.7 millimeter, and you can see it's the LR family. It's just the XLR7KA, but the family is the LR, which is the standard refill from Pentel. And so this is the olive black. Again, nice, smooth, good writer. The Energels are really exceptional refills, as we've said many times on this video series. And this one is slightly greenish, as you could probably pick up, but again, it's really close to being black. There is a slight hint of green, like a dark green. I don't think olive green is where I would go. It's more of a, I don't even know what's darker than that, but it's definitely a really deep shade, has a brownish tinge to me, a very dark brown-ish green. So dark enough that I guess you can call it olive black, but there you go. It's sort of like I think Uni-ball's series was called the BLX, and that had the same thing. It was a black color tinged with red, a black tinge with green. That one wasn't as dark as this. These are much closer to black than I would have expected, but they're fun. And I would say the main reason to get it is because the body of the pen looks pretty nice. You know, it'd be cool if this was more matte, or if this body was metal and this was more matte, but I think they did a really nice job with it. It's a good looking pen. Anytime you get a great pen like the Energel and you make it monochrome, whether the color is black or whatever, it's going to do pretty well in my book. This is not exactly what I wanted. This looks kind of dated, but if this had some kind of flatter colors as opposed to the old school plastic type colors, I think this would look good too. Just like when you have these flat colors like this, matte, it's really more of a satin, but it's as matte as you can get with plastic. I think it gives it a more modern look, whereas this pen, while it works very well, definitely looks pretty dated. And the last thing I'll say is that with these Pentel Energel designs, you can easily swap out the refill and put in a European style ballpoint refill in here. So in this one, I have a full-on Pelican 338 rollerball refill. It's a really nice high-end rollerball refill. It kind of doesn't make a lot of sense to people because, or it won't make sense to everyone because this refill is about $8 or $9. It's much more expensive than the pen it's in. And it's debatable whether it writes as well as the Pentel Energel ink that this thing comes with, but the Energel refills don't last super long. So you can swap them out and have some fun with the pen. Oh, and one thing I should mention is that the original InFreeze were needle tip, whereas the BLX obviously have a kind of a standard tip. So there you go.